Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
What's up, y'all? I am not Gary Parrish. I'm Lane Whitaker. I'm sitting in today for GP, and you're watching the Gary Parrish Show live here from FedEx Forum at the Built Ford Tough studio. It's a Friday. Means it's a good day. Means the weekend's right around the corner. And I'm here today with Bennett Doyle.
What's up, dude?
What's up? Where's Gary? I don't even know.
Gary is in Annapolis. Oh, my goodness. Let me turn this down. He is in Annapolis at the Naval Academy. There's a big basketball tournament going on this weekend. Yes, he is enlisting. I'm trying to find what the actual tournament is. Yeah, why don't you set the show and I'll find out.
Let's talk about the show today. We're going to start off because it's a game day here in Memphis. The Grizzlies are playing the Washington Wizards tonight. Grizzlies going for 3 in a row at home and trying to get this win tonight against a rebuilding Wizards team. But the Grizzlies will be without John Morant and a bunch of other guys. So we'll talk about that game and set that up a little bit. Jessica Benson will join us because it's a Friday, so she's always here on Friday, and we're going to talk about college football and whatever else we get into with Jessica. 5 more things. We got some interesting stuff in there. The Memphis Tigers basketball plays tonight, or is it this weekend? Is it tomorrow night? They play this weekend.
Yeah, the basketball team plays tomorrow night in Vegas, at UNLV.
Nice. So we'll talk about that. We got talk about tigers and monkeys and all sorts of other stuff in the 5 more things.
It's a very animal-themed 5 more things
heavy,
today. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's me and Bennett, animal lovers.
Yes.
And then we got GP's carry out to get you out of here. But you're watching the Gary Parrish Show, and I'm Lane Whitaker. So let's talk. Excited for this game tonight?
I am very excited, a little nervous. I saw, obviously, the news yesterday came out that Ja's not going to play tonight. And it is, by the way, Military Appreciation Night.
Yes. Tonight's Military Appreciation Night.
I don't know if we can get a zoom in on that, but they're giving away these cool little dog tags tonight. It's by Ashley. Thanks, Ashley Furniture, for the hookup. There you go. Sorry, it kind of blends in with the beard a little bit, which is good for me. But, yeah, they're giving those away tonight at the game. So
their beard's like camouflage hair.
Yeah. I like it. So, they're giving those away to the first 5,000 tonight. So, get out here and get your dog tag. Yeah.
Grizzlies are going to be without John Morant. Like you said, he got hurt in the Lakers game the other night. He went up for that alley-oop in the third quarter and got knocked out of the air. No foul was called.
Shocker.
But
no, he was not happy about it either.
Well, the Lakers had no fouls called on them in the whole third quarter.
That's insane.
Like, I mean,
as chippy as that game was, the fact that
especially like the end of the second
BS.
quarter, right before halftime, everybody was going back and forth and shoving, and and then for 0 fouls to get called in the third quarter. I mean, at the same time, the Grizzlies won the third quarter, and they couldn't. I mean, I guess you could argue the Lakers didn't foul them because the Grizzlies were just raining threes throughout that third quarter. Had a big game in the third quarter, but. Ja's out tonight. All we know right now is hip soreness. We haven't heard from. I assume Taylor Jenkins is back tonight. The Grizzlies will have shoot around right now. Taylor missed the game with the death in the family on Wednesday night, but we don't. I assume he's back tonight. He would usually talk tonight about 5:15, so we'd get some sort of update on Ja then, unless we get an email from Grizz PR, which generally is not a good thing to get email from Grizz PR or about injury stuff.
Yeah. So
We did get a good email yesterday, though, about Vince Williams. It was a tweet, not even an email. There was a tweet that kind of floated past yesterday that yesterday afternoon, Vince Williams was assigned to the Memphis Hustle for practice and then was going to be reassigned to the Grizzlies right after, which means Vince Williams practiced with the Memphis Hustle yesterday, if we're reading the tea leaves, which means he's a little bit closer to being back on the court.
That's big. I would assume. They need him. Yeah. They need him, especially just like I know that he's considered probably the 3, but you need wings right now. Thin as their wing rotation is right now. Yeah, they need him back bad. The Ja situation. So the only thing that made me a little bit concerned is the fact that he was just ruled out. There was no doubtful, anything like that. I would be surprised. We play Sunday at Portland. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, Sunday at Portland. I'd be surprised if you see him in that game because the 4 games after that are at Lakers, at Warriors, and then Denver twice.
Yeah.
And those are big games.
The Denver games are here, yeah.
Yeah, so you would assume that you're trying to get by without Ja for 2 games. Did you still think you can win even without him against bad teams?
I mean, the Blazers have been kind of frisky back and forth. Shaden Sharp's coming back, I think, maybe this weekend.
I got it.
They're all right. They're fun. The Wizards are like they're not built to win, but they've won some games, but they're not great. The Wizards are 5-4. No, 2-4 coming in tonight.
Yeah, their only 2 wins are both against Atlanta. They did a back-to-back
against.
It's
like Brooklyn beating us.
Right,
yeah,
it really
twice.
is. Same situation. I mean, coming into tonight, I think you should still be able to win the game without Ja. Obviously, we thought that in the Brooklyn game that they lost at home. So we'll see.
No Kyle Kuzma for the Wizards.
And that's the thing, man. You would expect just a huge Jaren game tonight.
You would hope.
That you just play through him and just dominate them on the glass. Jaren, Edey, Santi. You would just expect that you have such
This might be a Zach Edey game.
That's what I'm saying. You just have such an advantage over them inside that you would think that you play through those guys a lot tonight.
I'm looking at their stats. Who do you think is the leading scorer for the Wizards?
It's got to be Jordan Poole. Is it not?
I don't know. I'm looking. Hold on.
It's got to be Jordan Poole.
Points.
I mean, he probably takes 1 million shots a game.
Let's see. Here we go. Jordan Poole.
Yeah,
averages
of course.
23 a game.
Yeah.
Coulibaly is second, 18 a game. Then Kuzma. Oh, and then Grizzlies legend Jonas Valanciunas.
I completely forgot that JV plays for the Wizards.
JV.
That is, hey, man.
Yeah.
Listen, shout out to JV. One of my favorite Grizzlies. I loved it when he was here. It was sad to see him go.
Too.
Yeah, go get your money, man. Good for him.
They had Tyus Jones, and now they have Jonas Valanciunas, like the former Grizzly. Sarr's been playing. He's okay. Number 2 pick overall. Looking at anybody else on this team. I mean, Bub Carrington is the guy who's like number 2 on the rookie ladder between Zach Edey and Jalen Wells. Carrington's averaging 10 points a game, 4 rebounds a game.
That makes it. You would expect a rookie to be
5
putting
assists.
up. You would expect a rookie to be putting up,
30
numbers for that team. Yeah,
they have a lot of guys that are good, kind of like tweener role player. Corey Kispert has been okay for them.
He's been there for a minute now. Yeah. That's a guy that always comes up around trade deadline time, because it's like he's a shooter. He's on a bad team. What could you get out of him if you get him out of that situation?
Yeah.
That's a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if you see moved at the trade deadline. Honestly,
think so.
Yeah.
Especially if the Wizards are like really committed to the tank, and if they end up going after Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey's his name, the kid from if they go after one of those guys and really go all in on trying to be bad again. I was actually looking at some numbers for the Grizzlies last night. Taylor Jenkins always talks about points in the paint and that being a point of emphasis for his team, and they've been scoring 60 plus in the paint almost every game the last 2 weeks. And 40 used to be a pretty good number. In the 50s is exceptional, but 60s is a lot. They've had 60 points in the paint the last 4 games against the Lakers, the Nets. They had 70 against the Sixers without Embiid, and they had 68 against Milwaukee in that game here. And they're number 1 in the NBA right now in points in the paint. And to me, that kind of speaks to that offense they're running and the ability to like get these guys on cuts and get stuff in the just simple stuff. And then when you get that stuff, it opens up the 3-point shooting. I also think rebounding was a thing that we looked at a lot the first couple games. And you're like, oh no, we're getting out rebounded by people. That's sort of normalized a little bit. The Grizzlies are right now 8th in the NBA in rebounds per game. They out rebounded the Lakers by 13 the other night. And the Wizards are number 29 in the NBA in rebounds per game, next to last. So this seems like a game where the Grizzlies should be able to take advantage of the boards. Yeah. Take advantage of getting in the paint. If you get Jonas in foul trouble, get him out of there. They don't have a ton of depth on that team. They have a lot of young guys, so they'll probably be in a lot of foul trouble. You get a lot of free throws tonight. And hopefully the Grizzlies.
Man, that is going to be a test for Edey. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully going up against a good veteran. Yeah.
But hopefully they can just make some free throws tonight, because that's the other thing. I think you're going to get a lot of free throw opportunities. Yeah. And you don't want it to be one of those games where you get like 20 for 29 from the free throw line or something like that. Like, make your free throws, give yourself a chance. And then if you're shooting the way you shot against the Lakers, which, okay, that was an outlier. They hit 50% of their threes. They're 17 for 34 from 3 against the Lakers. Like, I don't think that's happening again, but if you're shooting at that pace, it gives you a shot. And look, like you said, without Ja tonight, this is a winnable game. Portland, winnable game. The problem is we've lost some winnable games this season.
Yeah. And I wonder if the Nets that was like our kryptonite or something.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, it just seems I'm wondering if we're going to look back in like 2 weeks and say that was just kind of an anomaly. Like you shouldn't have lost both games to that team, but like it was a good matchup for them against us. I don't know.
We don't really have, well, as I say, we don't really have an answer for Schroeder.
That is painful to hear.
Except that feels like a Scottie Pippen matchup. You know what I mean? Like that feels like a guy he's perfectly suited
for.
That's
insane to say out loud. We don't have a matchup for Dennis Schroeder.
He's good, man. He's good.
Hey, he's been in the league for a long time for a reason. Yeah.
He doesn't even have the gold patch in his hair anymore.
No, he doesn't. No, he's grown up and matured. What do you think the rotation is going to look like tonight without Ja?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was on Jessica's show this morning. We were talking about that, and like I mean, I would guess Pippen gets to start. The last game Ja didn't start. The Grizzlies went with Marcus Smart and Desmond Bane as the backcourt. Both those guys are hurt too. So I would imagine it's Jalen Wells and Pippen in the backcourt to start. Unless you want to try to start Luke Kennard and Jalen Wells, and then you bring Pippen off the bench to go against the Wizards' second team.
So I think that one trend that we noticed is they don't like starting Scottie. Like if they can avoid doing that, because he's just so good coming off the bench for this team. Like it's just he fits so well in that role that you don't want to mess up the chemistry that they've got going. I think by default you might just have to tonight, right? Unless you want Luke to play point guard, like you said, which we've seen before. I'd rather just have like a true point guard out there.
We only have one.
Yeah.
You have him and Yuki, so those are your two choices. The problem is when Pippen's not on the floor, what do? How do you get through those minutes? Kennard's only played one game, so they're not going to play him.
They might get Conchar back tonight.
Could get Conchar, and he was sort of the breaking case of emergency point guard the last couple of years. Do you remember? Here's a deep cut. Jarrett Culver was the third point guard.
I remember Jarrett Culver.
A couple of years ago.
Yes.
Like Conchar was sort of filled that role after Culver as like the third point guard for,
Dude, one of the great Grizzlies photos ever is, I guess it's the one, was it the one that they used for the Mem This poster? It's just all those guys. Yeah. Like it was one of the post games and they're all in it. Yeah. And Jarrett Culver's like right there front and center too with them. Yeah. So he's got that memory. Yeah.
Before the Thunder ripped us off and started doing the team post-game interviews.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still pisses me off. No, but yeah, I think I'm with you. I think the lineup's going to be Scotty, Jalen Wells, Santi, Jaron, and Zach.
Scotty Jones. So Santi at the 3, Jaron, Zach. I mean, that gives you a ton of size.
Yeah.
Santi hasn't been like a big scorer at the 3, the last week and a half. I mean, what he had 27 on opening night and then 2 the next game. He's kind of been hit or miss. So I would think Santi might be due for a breakout game at some point here too. But yeah, if they go with that lineup, then who do you have coming off the bench? Conchar, Kennard,
Jake, BC, J Huff.
There's your 5. That's 5 guys off the bench right there.
Yeah.
And they've been playing 9 rotation the last couple games, trying to get away from I think that 10-11 that they started the season with.
So I see people in the chat saying it. It's true. Like saying, do you think Yuki gets run tonight? I don't. I mean, it depends. Like if they're blowing out the Wizards,
or they're
then
getting
yes.
blown out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that the problem is, and it's obvious, like defensively, he's just a liability out there. Like teams just shoot over him. So we'll see. I mean, I think that if it's a blowout either way, then yes, you will see Yuki get run tonight.
He got in at the end of the game the other night, and Bronny was guarding him, and Yuki was he was making him work to get the ball up the court.
I mean, he got at the free throw line.
Yeah. but other point guards other defenders are gonna do that to Yuki, and it was harder for Yuki to get the ball up the court than it is. I think it's just experience more than anything,
right?
Than it is for a Scottie Pippen or a Ja to get it up the court. And this Grizzlies team is trying to play fast and trying to get into a half court offense where the ball's moving and guys are cutting and all that. And when you're getting into that at 12 on the shot clock versus 18. It's a lot harder, I think, for Yuki to come in and kind of stabilize that second unit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hear people say, I see in the chat people saying that, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Yuki is going to play meaningful.
I think that too.
Minutes quite yet.
The hustle season's about to start, and
true,
I think they want him to get a lot of. Clearly, they're going to want him to get a lot of run with the hustle.
Yeah,
it seems like one of those things because of how developmental the Grizzlies have been. That if he's going to get real minutes with the Grizzlies, he's going to first have to play a lot of minutes in South Haven.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it's always been.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get targeted in South Haven the way he gets targeted here. Yeah, and he's going to learn how to deal with it. And what do you do? Someone was asking the other night about Edey's minutes because he only played, I think he only ended up playing like 15 or less against the Lakers the other night. And somebody was like, well, why? He had such a good first quarter in that Lakers game. That first 6 minutes he was in there and he had like 7 and 4 or something like that. And then he didn't get in much again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, in the second quarter, whenever it was when he got back in, like LeBron put him in a pick and roll about 3 times in a row and ISO'd him and got around him and scored. And you're like, all right, well, that's one of those things, sort of like Yuki, that Edey's going to figure out. Like eventually he's going to figure out, all right, here's what I have to do when this happens. Either we don't switch or I call for help or whatever, or I just try to take it one-on-one. But I think it was a little bit kind of much. I mean, someone else after the game asked me, they're like, if you're Zach Edey, what do you do? And I was like, well, first of all, you're not going to play LeBron every game. Like that one reason LeBron's able to get around Zach Edey is because he's LeBron. Yeah. Like he's incredible. So I think Yuki needs that run in the G League. And, these other guys, Jalen Wells, Zach Edey, they're going to get better. They just need time to play.
I know we got to get past tonight, and we're going to get JB in here in a second. But Sunday, it's like, it's Portland, no Ja. Yeah. You are going to get Edey versus Klingon, which will be cool.
Oh, that's true.
That'll be cool. Yeah. I mean, that's one of those that, coming into the season, it was like, yeah, we're going to be watching out for that one. Klingon's been playing okay.
A big post battle.
Yeah.
But the Blazers haven't been great.
No. So that'll be fun to watch on Sunday, too.
I don't even know what he's averaging points per game. But I saw Jeremy Grant knocking over Wemby last night a couple times.
I did, too.
Yeah. Wemby not built for that.
No.
All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back in just a second. Jessica Benson's going to join us. We'll talk the college football weekend, and who knows what else we'll talk about with Jessica Benson. You're watching the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media.
we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz-Wiz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. So if I get jealous, I can't help it. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker filling in for GP. Bennett Doyle's here, and it's Friday, which means Jessica Benson's here. Normally it means I'm on her show, but
and now
today
I'm on the show.
She's on
and
my
you're
show.
on the show.
We're all here. And it's also Friday, which means college football is here. And it means tonight there's 4 games. Here's a good stat for you.
Okay.
Friday night underdogs are 20-10 against the spread this year.
Oh, bad news for Rice.
For somebody. No, it's good news for Rice because they're an underdog.
I meant bad news for Memphis.
So there's 4 games.
Favorite.
How about this? There's 4 games tonight. Cal, they're kind of good games.
Yeah.
Cal at Wake, Iowa at UCLA, Rice at Memphis, New Mexico at San Diego State.
You're doing a lot of heavy lifting on the
which of those dogs? Which of those dogs would you favor tonight? Give me an underdog.
What were they again?
Cal at Wake Forest. Cal's favored by a 7.5.
I'll tell you who.
Iowa at UCLA. Iowa's favored by 6.5. Memphis at Rice. Memphis is favored by 8. San Diego State is playing New Mexico, and San Diego State's favored by 2. Underdogs on Friday nights are 20-10 against the spread this season.
Give me UCLA, which pains me. Which pains me.
They've
They
actually
just beat Nebraska.
Yeah, they've been pretty good the last year. Nebraska's a dumpster fire right now, though.
Correct, but the UCLA defense has actually been pretty solid. They beat Rutgers and Nebraska back-to-back weeks. They only lost to Minnesota by 4. And they only lost to Penn State by 16.
You know who UCLA's offensive coordinator is? This is a great
Who is it?
trivia. Eric Bieniemy.
That's right.
Who for months, years was going to be the next
rising
NFL
head
star
coach.
And now
there.
he's the offensive coordinator at UCLA, and they weren't good for the first chunk of the season, but they've been better.
That's crazy that within the, and I know there's coordinators all over the place, so this is a frivolous throwaway, but Bieniemy being the offensive coordinator at UCLA and Belichick's kid being the defensive coordinator at Washington.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty big last names.
They are.
Belichick being on the
little bigger
heels of Bill. But Bieniemy, you're right. I mean, we sat here forever, and the lack of diversity in head coaches in the NFL is always, Eric Bieniemy is going to be the next man up.
Why does he get a chance?
Now he's at UCLA.
Yeah.
The Memphis game worries me.
About
that.
8 points is so much for Memphis, as a line, because they play to their opponent every single game.
I mean, you're coming off a big letdown. I'm worried that the crowd's not going to be great tonight because it's gross outside. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff.
Grizzlies are
playing tonight. So that one makes me a little nervous. Yeah.
I have a question for you that I got asked this week.
Yep.
Who has a higher ceiling at this point in being a forever beloved Memphis Tiger?
Okay.
Seth Hennigan.
Okay.
Or PJ Haggerty?
Haggerty.
Oh, God,
higher
that's
ceiling.
tough.
Haggerty. It's easy.
It's Haggerty, I know.
Yeah,
if they get to the NCAA tournament and Haggerty is
their best player,
player, yeah. I mean, it's just that's
Hennigan.
Seth Hennigan has never been to an AAC championship.
Look at how high regard we hold Kendrick Davis, who played here one season.
Yeah.
You know, it's just unfortunately they had the big bowl win against Iowa State, but as far as regular season, he doesn't have that many huge wins. They beat Florida State this year, right? Florida State's bad. Yeah. But as far as just big upsets and stuff like that in his career, there's not one moment that you point to.
He has more big losses than big wins.
Yeah. I mean,
and you expect at this point, being here as long as he has, of course he's going to set some records. You know, has the most touchdown passes in school history.
4 years in a row. Yeah, he's started forever.
Right.
Yeah, I can. The game I'm kind of curious about tonight is Cal Wake Forest. Because Cal started the season so hot. Rhythm. Yeah, everybody was all excited. They were kind of the fun team.
But they're coached by Justin Wilcox, so you can't trust anything.
But they're 4-4 now.
Yeah, but they're 0-4 in the ACC.
0-4 in the ACC.
This would be their first ACC win.
Wake's at home, and Wake scores points at least. You know, they scored 38 last week. No, they scored 24 against Stanford last week. 2 weeks ago, they had a week off. So it's also been a bad week for Woke. So if you're Cal,
what a bad week for Woke.
If you're Cal, that doesn't bode well.
It's good.
Damn.
Is that right?
That is good.
Yeah, you're right.
This is Woke versus Wake.
That's one of the funniest things you've said in a minute.
That was good. Yeah. That was really good.
All the applause. But when you look at Cal's losses this season, which is crazy, and all against ACC opponents, they lost by 5 to Florida State, and that was when Florida State still had a chance at saving their season. They lost by 1 to Miami, and that was a game that Miami, a call there late. The ACC officials, that was when the trigger first started going off. Like, what is happening? Well, I think the Virginia Tech game was actually the week before with Miami, but both of those were interesting eyeball openers. They lost by 2 to Pitt. They lost by 1 to NC State, and then they just beat Oregon State 44-7. Like, all of their losses are by a combined 6,
1, 2,
8, 9
like
points.
5 points.
9 combined points for 4 losses.
Yeah. Well, there's also losses this week that we thought were going to be closer, and numbers were off. Like, I'm just saying, things aren't trending well for Cal.
Right. I never trust the polls again. What a bad week to be a pollster. Do you have to be looking for a new job? Or do you think they'll bamboozle it once again and find a way to be relevant?
Who's going to take your job? It's not like
That's
there's
true.
other pollsters waiting in the wings.
Of all the jobs that should be taken over by AI,
maybe
I think
one?
pollsters should. I think that we should give the robots a chance.
I don't know.
I listen if they know it better.
To a lot of political podcasts, and they talk about how hard it is for pollsters now because people they don't answer the phone when you call somebody to try to poll them on things. You know, they avoid.
Who answers the door?
Yeah, they avoid door knocks, text messages, all that stuff. Like, it's easier now than ever to avoid all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's harder than ever to get accurate polling information.
I actually find this a fascinating piece. Like, not going into the political outcomes, but just how we monitor the trends of people voting. And Bob Ferguson, who ran for governor, Democratic governor in Washington, he went to every single rural community in Washington, and he still won pretty handedly. And Washington was one of 2 states that did not shift red this election.
All right.
Washington and Utah.
All right.
Utah shifted a little bit blue, still a red state. But I think it works for local races to still go into communities. But from a presidential standpoint, like, how much
you can't.
Is it worth to even go to? Obviously, you still have to go to the states, and you have to do the rallies, and you have to kiss the babies and shake the hands and all that. But so much more rests on social media. I really do think this represents a shift in the importance of where are
it's
the
hard to
clicks
cut
coming
through
from?
all that stuff,
It
right?
is.
There's a lot of noise out there, and so cutting through that, I think, is what's hard to do. Saturday, college football.
Yes.
Georgia at Ole Miss.
Yes.
You asked me how I felt about it. I said I feel pretty good. Like I feel like our defense is good enough. Ole Miss tends to not win these type of games. This is basically an elimination game for Ole Miss. If they lose, they're done. How do you feel about that game?
I really think it's a game that's going to be decided by both teams'
Are you speaking
front
so
seven.
scarily?
I don't know, because it's weird to say that I believe in a component of Ole Miss's defense enough, but Ole Miss is fourth nationally in pressure rate this season.
Yep.
And when Carson Beck has been under pressure, he has been one of the worst quarterbacks in college football thus far. Even with his new Cavender twin girlfriend by his side, which is it because he's under pressure or is it because he's in a new relationship? I don't know. It might be a blend of both.
That's a lot of pressure.
Under pressure,
It
he
is.
has a 32% completion rate and an 8.5% interception rate, which is ridiculously higher than anybody else.
A year ago, he led college football in getting the ball out. He was so fast getting the ball out. And I think a lot of that now is like there's like a total new receiving core, and it's just taking time to get used to that. I don't know if he can get back to that. I don't know if ETN, how his health is either.
Right.
He broke a rib in that Florida game and didn't play the second half, so I don't know if he's playing or not. Like Georgia's kind of banged up on offense, so. But I think the defense,
their defense
is good enough.
Their secondary is a little sketch, but their front seven's really good. And Jackson Dart, similarly, like last week, his offensive line finally gave him time to throw, and he was a video game.
Put it this way, if it comes down to these two quarterbacks,
Who do you trust more?
Carson Beck.
Probably Carson Beck.
And if it comes down to the two of them under fire and trying to make decisions under pressure, as bad as Carson Beck's been the last month, I'll still take Carson Beck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. I think the ceiling is higher for Jackson Dart in this game, but the floor is lower.
John Roser asked us on the Odds Couple, happy birthday, John Roser, by the way. But John Roser was saying, like, if you had to pick, think about this, one college football team in America to win you one game right now, like which team would you trust the most to win you one game?
I think I would still go Texas.
I'd probably go Oregon.
I
really do believe in Oregon.
I'd probably still go Georgia. Like I still think Georgia's got the defense better than either of those two teams. I mean, they beat Texas, and the offense is kind of all upside. Like the defense will keep you in the game, and Carson Beck might throw for 400 yards. Who knows?
Or he might throw
Or he might throw
picks.
4 interceptions. Yeah, who knows? I mean, the other big one this weekend is the LSU game, LSU Bama at Baton Rouge. We're going to talk about that in the next segment a little bit, especially the Tiger aspect of it. But I kind of feel like that is another elimination game, and it's sort of going to be a referendum on Brian Kelly versus Kalen DeBoer to some extent.
It is my favorite thing about the expanded playoff. I love the expanded playoff.
Yeah.
I cannot believe people were fighting against this for so long.
Who was?
It's going to ruin the powers that be.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't
some
real
like
people.
old men shakes
Yeah.
fists at cloud, where they didn't want the playoff to begin with, and then once the 14 playoff, it's like, well, certainly it can't.
It
be
was just like
expanded.
the administrators fighting against
Yes.
it. Fans, all the fans wanted it.
Yes,
We all were
clamoring
ready
for it. And now you have a November 9th,
A November
Saturday
surprise.
in November surprise, where two teams with two losses, who in a different universe might be battling for a place in the SEC championship game to save their season, I guess you could say. But they're battling for a chance to still be in the college football playoff, and that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for this game. I have been a fan of Garrett Nussmeier all season. They rest on him so much,
Yeah.
and LSU cannot
But
run
he's
the
so
ball.
up and down.
He
Like,
is
that's the thing.
But when he's up,
He's good.
oh
Yeah.
man.
That throw he had to beat, who'd they beat earlier this year? Tennessee or whoever it was when they hit he hit the pass to send it to overtime.
Yes.
Like that was an awesome pass.
And
Like,
it's Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
It's Tiger Stadium
At
at
night.
night. And the numbers on that. And this is Kalen DeBoer's first time
Yeah.
taking a team into Tiger Stadium at night. And there is going to be a live tiger on the sideline.
Also, like we don't know what Kalen DeBoer is going to be wearing. There's Alabama fans are very interested in this.
Yes.
They've been upset because he's worn T-shirts or like the hoodie T-shirt in a lot of these games. He's also not requiring the shirts to be tucked in like Nick Saban used to do, and they feel like this shows a lack of discipline on his part and on the team's part. Maybe a little
Can
slippage.
you be great if you don't tuck your shirt in?
I don't know.
Do you tuck your shirts in?
Depends. Right now, no. I'm wearing a sweatshirt with a T-shirt
too.
underneath. But on game nights,
Never. Don't.
you?
Yeah, I see
You
you
never
looking like
do?
you're no, literally never.
Literally never.
Uh-uh.
I think it's weirder for men to tuck their shirts in than for women to tuck their shirts in. Because we do it for a fashion
I do it
standpoint.
for like when I'm wearing a dress shirt or like
That's normal.
for games. Like I always
don't.
tuck my shirt in.
I don't even when I'm wearing a dress shirt. Only when I'm wearing like a suit.
That's a dress shirt.
That's what, but
like if you were just wearing a dress shirt and a pair of khakis.
Yeah, like if I was going out to like a dinner or something, no, I wouldn't tuck it in. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I would.
Are we good on college football? Have we covered it all?
Because you want to talk about the Grammys?
What do you want to talk about? Oh, did they come out?
The Grammy nominations have just dropped.
Oh, yes.
And so let's let me get it pulled up.
I got the album of the year nominees right here.
Okay, let's start. We can start with album of the year.
Okay.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 nominees.
Oh my gosh, I am stunned.
Yeah. Andre 3000's.
I cannot believe Andre 3000's flute album got a nomination.
And I'm gonna be honest, I dig it. I don't know about album of the year.
Here's the thing. Here's what I would tell you. I'm the biggest Andre 3000 fan.
I am a big fan too.
I've known Andre 3000 since I was 12 years old. Like I'm an Outkast fan, huge Outkast fan. This album came out this year. This might be either the best or the worst jazz flute album of all time. I have no idea.
You don't know.
I have no frame of reference. I don't know.
It's not your wheelhouse.
A flute album.
For an Andre 3000 album, doesn't really do much for me. Because I like Andre 3000's music, and I don't sit around listening to New Blue Sun. I don't listen to it in my car. I don't really know the context for it. So it getting nominated for album of the year though. That's the thing though. The Grammys are so out of touch with kind of like popularity and different things like that. Like this doesn't shock me. It's almost like they gave him an album of the year nominee just because he put an album out. It's been since 2000 when they did The Love Below.
Yeah, I respect.
I don't. He made it as a joke. It's fine.
He did not.
No, it's not a joke.
He's
really into it.
And I love artists that reach a point in enough success creatively that they can do things like this. Like if you have enough money and influence and you want to make a flute album, go for it. Like I'm a fan of all genres of music. I'm just looking at this list, and the fact that Ariana Grande's album did not get nominated for album of the year is
she
a
put out an
travesty.
album this year?
Yes, it's one of the best pop albums of the year.
All right,
and it's one of her best albums that she's ever put out.
Let's go through these real quick. Okay, so we got Andre 3000, New Blue Sun, Cowboy Carter, Beyonce, Short and Sweet, Sabrina Carpenter, Brat, Charlie XCX, how you say that, by Jacob Collier.
I don't know.
Digest, Volume 4.
Who's Jacob? I don't know Jacob Collier.
I gotta be honest, I don't know Jacob Collier.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know who Jacob Collier is.
Is it another jazz flute album?
Let's find out.
Okay, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan, and then The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift. Here is my hot take.
Jacob Collier appears to be K-pop.
He's an English singer-songwriter.
Oh, never mind.
Here's my take for album of the year. Taylor Swift can't win it this year. No. She just can't.
Oh,
that album is...
Here, give me my album of the year.
I'm going to go with Sabrina Carpenter. It's got to be.
No. If the Grammys play in Beyonce's face one more time, burn it all down. Cowboy Carter is the best album of the year. Even if you didn't like Cowboy Carter, the artistic decisions and the execution and the risks and the multi-genre crossing.
Argue you can make the same argument for Andre 3000.
Fine, go for it if you want to. Beyonce's album was truly.
In fact, for
special.
Andre 3000, it might be more of a swing because he won the album. His last album won the album of the year, and it was a hip hop album.
Okay, great. So you're saying Andre 3000 has won an album of the year before with Outkast. Beyonce has never won album of the year, and that is one of the greatest marks on the Grammys. And I'm not trying to have a Kanye moment here. I'm just trying to say that Beyonce deserves album of the year.
I mean, you're saying she deserves it.
She's a 99-time Grammy nominee and doesn't have an album of the year.
But you're saying
it
award. as she deserves it as like a lifetime achievement award.
She also deserves it on that. It's my favorite album of the year.
Okay.
The end.
Like Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department just isn't a great Taylor Swift album. It's fine.
Isn't the Sabrina Carpenter album the one most people have talked about this year?
I think
probably
I think Chappell Roan's Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess has been the most talked about album.
It probably has. I think and Brat goes pretty hard too. Brat is really good. I think I'm with you. You have to give it to Beyonce because the rest of this category is just not. There's no one. First off, there's no one really on that level other than Taylor Swift. And if we're going to say it's between Taylor Swift and Beyonce, you got to give it to Beyonce because the album's just way better.
How about this? So the record of the year, which is like single, right? This is a pretty good category here. The Beatles, Now and Then, which is the AI song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Beyonce, Texas Hold'em. Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. Charlie XCX, 360. Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather. Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. Chappell Roan, Good Luck, Babe, and Taylor Swift, Fortnite.
I think it'll be Kendrick.
I think it'll be Kendrick.
Yeah, I think it'll be Kendrick in that one. Espresso is the. I would say Kendrick or Sabrina Carpenter.
That Texas Hold'em was
My
pretty
issue
popular.
with Texas Hold'em is that it's far and away not the best song on that album. And I do think that doomed certain people's perspective of that album.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are far better songs on Cowboy Carter than Texas
agree with
Hold'em.
that.
And the fact that that is nominated for Song of the Year, and did it get a Record of the Year nominee as well?
That was Record of the Year. Song of the Year
okay.
goes to like the songwriter, right? Isn't that how it works?
So Record of the Year is all of the production elements
Yeah.
that go into the song, and then Song of the Year is the physical.
Song of the Year is
music
pretty
and
much
lyrics.
the same songs, except for Shabuzi and Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
And Sabrina with Please, Please, Please
Yeah.
instead of
That's a good
Espresso.
song.
I'm
It
still
is.
convinced that Lady Gaga Bruno Mars song isn't actually a real song. I've never
too.
heard it. I
Oh,
don't
I've
know
heard it and I
anyone
don't
that's
like
heard it.
it.
You saw the movie, right?
What?
Did you see the Joker movie? That's
I
what
haven't
it's
seen
from.
it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'll see
I
it
don't
when it
like
comes
it.
out on video or whatever, however you consume things these days.
Chappell Rowan is nominated for Best New Artist, which seems surprising because hadn't she put out like 4 or 5 albums previously?
No, this is her
She's
first.
been around for a while.
No, she hasn't. Oh, she's been around for a minute. Okay, so
Yeah.
Chappell Roan, she first put out her song Pink Pony Club, which is the song that she did on SNL this past week, and it came out right in 2020, and it was
That's a while.
On the early days of TikTok, it looked like it was going to be the song of the summer. But then there was no song of the summer in 2020. It was COVID. We were all stuck inside. You couldn't do anything. And she lost her original record contract.
Yep.
And so then has been working the last however many years to get back to release Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, and then just bursts onto
Sure.
the scene. I hate people who do. I was an early Chappell Roan fan. Like, I have been a fan. I've had Pink Pony Club on my playlist for 4 years now. And I kept trying to tell people to listen to Chappell Roan, and she started kind of generating some more buzz on TikTok. And between maybe like February and May, it went from nobody knowing who Chappell Roan was to her being one of the biggest performers and musicians in the world. Like, they had to change her. She was supposed to be on a small stage at, I think it was at Bonnaroo or one of the music festivals, and they had to move her to one of the main stages because the overflow would have been like unsustainable for the number of people who were there. It happened at Gov Ball.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk in the chat about this category. And people say Roser's in there, Devin's in there. People are saying that the Andre album is just background music. It sort of is. Like, I don't disagree with that. I don't think it deserves to be
I think I've come up with the perfect list for these big 4 categories. I think I've really got this. Okay. Record of the year is going to be Kendrick, Not Like Us. Album, Beyonce. Song of the year, Sabrina Carpenter. And best new artist, Chappell Roan.
Yeah.
I do think Song of the Year could be Birds of a Feather.
Yeah, that's got a...
From a singer-songwriter standpoint.
Which one is
Billie
that?
Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Oh, I don't know. You have to give Sabrina Carpenter an award because of how big that album was.
I would almost say she deserves Best New Artist over Chappell Roan.
But you have to give her an award because of how big that album was.
Yeah.
I feel like you cannot snub both of them because those 2 albums were massive.
And she's had 2 huge singles, Espresso and the Please, Please, Please. They're both like big songs.
Yeah, I think that Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan both are gonna win
Or
an
how about
award.
this?
I'm still really upset that Ariana Grande's
Sabrina
album didn't
Carpenter,
get
Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan split the Best New Artist vote, and somebody else wins it.
And then the other thing is, how do you have the Grammys?
And you give it to Shabuzi.
Teddy Swims.
I do love Teddy Swims. And I love Shabuzi.
Yeah.
The other thing is, how do you do a Grammys and not give Taylor Swift an award? I think she'll win like...
You can do it, I promise.
She'll do.
Be brave.
She'll win like a lower tier award, right? She won't win any of the big...
She's not even going to be there.
I don't think she'll win any of the big awards this year. I just don't see it. That album just wasn't that good.
The Grammys are February 2nd. When's the Super Bowl?
The next weekend?
Yeah, it's the 9th, I think.
I just wonder if she would be. Yeah, the Super Bowl's the 9th. So that's the week off of the NFL playoffs. So she could actually, Taylor Swift could be at the Grammys and the Super Bowl if the Chiefs make it.
Yeah.
And we know the NFL wants the Chiefs to make it because we've seen the calls they've gotten. Yeah, I don't know. None of the other categories are really that interesting. Best pop duo group performance. Beyonce got nominated for Levi's Jeans with Post Malone. Ariana Grande.
That's not a
Brandy
real
and
song.
Monica, The Boy Is Mine. There you go.
Yeah. I was curious. I always look for best musical theater album.
Stop. I'm looking at best rock album, and I swear to God, like the Rolling Stones have a new album out. Who knew?
Yeah. Oh, they used I was going to say hot girl, and as a woman, that's a really horrible way to define somebody. From Euphoria, actress.
Come on. Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney, thank you. They used Sydney Sweeney in the rollout. Yeah, she was in the video. I'm sorry, Sydney Sweeney.
And it still didn't break through any of our consciousness. Pearl Jam got nominated, Best Rock Album. The Black Crowes got nominated.
Best Country Duo Group Performance, Beyonce and Miley got nominated for 2 Most Wanted.
Best Country Solo Performance, Beyonce, 16 Carriages.
Okay.
Jelly Roll, I Am Not Okay. Casey Musgraves, The Architect. Shabuzi, A Bar Song. Chris Stapleton, It Takes a Woman.
I don't like the song, but I respect that it's like a massive hit. The Shabuzi song, that's probably going to win something.
I bet Jelly Roll
It's a
wins.
massive
He
song.
seems like the kind of guy they'd all vote for. You know, like he's like a big favorite in the industry. And
that's true.
All this stuff. That's like when Steely Dan won the Album of the Year at that time, like 25 years ago. It's famous because they were, Toto won Album of the Year, like back in the Michael Jackson days. Because
for Africa?
I think it was that album.
Mm-hmm.
But all the guys in Toto were just like studio musicians, and they played on everyone else's albums. Like you can't name a person who was in Toto. Most people can't.
No, that's a good point. It's why Chris Stapleton's so big. Like he was a songwriter and wrote
Everyone
other people's
knows him.
songs. Everybody knows him, and then he won a bunch of Grammys. Yeah, that's a good point.
So like a lot of these awards are just kind of industry awards, right? Like it's just whoever you know. It's not necessarily like who's the best. It's like
and I like the Grammys from an award show viewing perspective because I love when they do performances, like cross-genre performances.
Yeah.
I love to watch performances. That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
Like I watch the Kennedy Center honors every year because I like to watch performances.
I agree. No, it's like my favorite awards show is the Oscars just because I love movies, but I think the best award show is probably the Grammys just because, again, you get the performances and everybody's there.
I watched the MTV Awards like a month ago. I just stumbled on it, whatever it is.
Oh, the VMAs went hard.
It was pretty good. Yeah. There was a lot of good performances.
I had a good time.
There was that long Katy Perry performance.
Keeps
that
a
was
little
good.
too long.
Keeps me young.
Yeah.
Keeps me young.
I feel old.
That's the oldest thing I've ever said in my life.
You want to feel old? Not only I'm trying to read these Grammy nominations, not only do I not know half the artists, but I can barely read the screen. I need my reading glasses.
You know, my eyes actually keep kind of bugging out.
Wow. We should stop. We should just stop.
Let's take a break. All right. We got to get ready. We got a game tonight. Jessica.
Oh, yes. Waxahachie's Tiger's Blood made Best Americana Album. I loved that album. That's one of my favorite albums of the year.
I've been saying the same thing.
Have you?
Yeah. What Waxahachie's Tigers?
Oh, shut up. Waxahachie.
Hey, you know what? Tonight the Grizzlies are playing. You can watch it on FanDuel Sports Network. You can also listen on the radio. But apparently Bennett's not on the radio tonight. Is that right, Bennett?
Oh, yeah. When you were giving your shout-outs today on your show, you didn't even include me. It hurt my feelings.
So sorry.
God.
I included you.
You're like, come hang out with me and John Roser tonight. I was like, thanks a lot.
Guess what? I included you at the top of the show.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to know why? You're going to not thank me. Because I said I hope that you didn't have someone score 55 points on you in fantasy football last night like I did to Bennett Doyle.
Okay. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Okay, but bring it up.
I feel so terrible for everyone that had to play against Jamar Chase in fantasy football
and
last
you're one
night,
of them.
including me, because, like, and the thing is looking at our matchup this week, I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to beat Jessica easily. Like, I'm good. Like, her
I haven't even picked up a quarterback
She doesn't have a quarterback this week. Like, I'm gonna be good here. And now I literally have no chance whatsoever. It doesn't matter what the rest of your team does.
Yeah.
I will
That's
say,
how bad that was.
It's funny because on the night of our draft of the league that we're in, when you took Derrick Henry with the first pick,
everyone made fun of me.
Everyone made fun of you, and I was sitting next to my husband Chris while we did it, and he even made fun of you. Like he was like, I can't. A couple days later, he was like, I still can't believe that Bennett took Derrick Henry with his first pick, and then Derrick Henry has been a monster and has been consistent. But I'm sorry,
I have Derrick Henry on my team.
Jamar Chase.
And he scored last night, but it was like his worst game of the season. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you could have at least had, because Chris has Burrow and Chase in our league with his fraternity brothers.
That's like 100 points.
He has 99 points. Yeah. Do you even have to pay attention to the weekend? No.
That's crazy. Thing. Yeah, I think it was 55 points for Jamar Chase. I believe I saw that was the 9th highest scoring fantasy total by a player ever, which that's pretty insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
Well, but anyway, Bennett will be on the radio as well.
Are we sure?
Yeah, he will. Right. I promise.
If you say so. All right. Bennett will be on the radio tonight. Jessica will be on the radio tonight. Jessica and I will be on the warm-up show at 6 o'clock. And then we'll be on the the Grind City Rewind after the game on FanDuel Sports Network, and all of us will be around. And thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll go through 5 things when we get back here on the Gary Parrish Show on Grind City Media.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you. What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, dude won Player of the Year twice. Like,
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, on evenings, and even on Saturdays. So the next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. You can just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lane Whitaker sitting in for GP today with Bennett Doyle. And we're at the point of the show where we talk about 5 things.
Number 1.
All right, tomorrow night, the Memphis men's basketball team is back in action. Their second game of the season. They've got a kind of an interesting start to the schedule. They're at UNLV tomorrow night. And I've been giving Penny and the athletic department a lot of credit over the summer. I think they did a great job of non-conference scheduling. Yep. UNLV, we'll see what they are this year. They were an NIT team last year. Yep. They lost some guys in the transfer portal like every, kind of mid-level team does these days. They did. I believe they only returned one starter to the team that went to the NIT last year, and that's their sophomore guard, Don Thomas Jr., who was their leading scorer in their win over Alabama State the other night. They started the season 1-0. UNLV did. I can't sit here and act like I know a lot about UNLV. That's literally, I gave you what I know.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I gave you what I know.
They have a guy who's leading them in points and rebounds per game, Jeremiah Cherry, averaging 24 and 11 so far.
So it should be a game that the Tigers are going to be favored. They should be able to win this game, but it is a road environment against a team that's been a proud college basketball program in the past and in the present. Like I said, they went to the NIT last season, so it won't be easy. But the Tigers, I think, should be able to win this one, and it's good to have, I think, a nice little road test early on in the season. My buddy's actually going to the game tomorrow night because he's out in Vegas for a concert, so he'll be there tomorrow.
What concert's he there for?
He is there. He is there DJing the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard set. Yeah,
every time I'm here,
I know that's how I always bring them up. Yeah. They're playing in Vegas tonight, I believe, and he's going to the game tomorrow. He's a big Tigers fan.
The next couple of weeks, Memphis plays. They have this at UNLV, Ohio, San Francisco, UConn, and then they've got Clemson, Virginia, Mississippi State, Ole Miss before they start getting into the conference schedule. So there's some big games in there, some big names. I was always thinking, I watched some of their game the other night, the win over Missouri, where they had a really good second half. But I wonder if they, when that guy Dane Danger scores, they should play the Danger Watch Yourself drop from Danger.
That's
Watch
pretty
yourself.
Mystical.
Right,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I
I'll
like,
submit that to the athletic department.
Can you?
Yeah, I know who to talk to.
If it was a Grizzlies thing, I would share it with people here. I don't know.
Here's the problem with this game tomorrow. It's 5:00 tip in Vegas. I asked Jason Munz about this earlier in the week. The game is on the Mountain West Network. Mm-hmm. I have no idea how to watch that. I don't have it on Xfinity.
That's one of those networks you have to use your remote and just say it.
I did, and it doesn't pull up. So I don't think Xfinity carries the Mountain West Network. I don't know how to watch it.
It might be on ESPN Plus sometimes.
No,
that stuff
it's not. It is not. I'm pretty sure it's not. If anybody in the chat can help me out.
It's an iPhone app, Jacob says. You download the app, you can watch for free on
Is it free, Jacob?
And it's free, he says.
I was going to say, you can't charge for the Mountain West Network. I mean, no offense. Like, they just lost like half their team to the Pac, or half their league to the Pac-12. Like, you gotta make that shit accessible for people.
Yeah, they should be like just streaming it free for people.
Yeah, okay, so good. It sounds like you can watch it for free through the Mountain West Network app, I'm guessing. Okay, good. Well, that's good to know. That's a 5:00 tip tomorrow out in Vegas, and it'll be a nice test for the Tigers. And like you said, then they play Ohio back here. That game's on ESPN Plus, and then they'll go on the road again at San Francisco before obviously a massive Thanksgiving week matchup against the best team in college basketball, UConn. So I don't know if they're over the past couple years, the best team in college basketball. How about that? Yeah, but I'm really excited about that, and hopefully the Tigers get a win tomorrow.
All right.
Number 2.
What a game last night, huh?
Dude, it was awesome.
And it looked like the first half, it looked like it was not going to be
even
a great
Al
game.
Michaels got excited a couple times, which has been
there
rare these days.
There was a play where the Ravens were walking off the field and they caught a fan saying, "You guys look like a-holes."
Yeah.
Because they looked so bad at the start of the game. And then all of a sudden, and we actually talked about it in the odds couple yesterday, and I said, I think the Ravens are the better team because their offense is so dynamic and they can do different things. They can run, they can pass. Their quarterback is like unstoppable. But they look so terrible, like most of that first half of the game. And the Bengals ended up looking like the more dynamic offense. I mean, Jamar Chase finished with 284 yards receiving. Like, he was incredible. But going back and forth down the stretch was awesome. Seeing them trade scores. That run Lamar had, where he ran backwards like 25 yards and then turned around and ran up the right sideline, like that was crazy. And then if you're the Bengals, do you like the go for 2 call at the end there?
Honestly, I don't. I didn't like that. I would just take the sure thing. And I know, because we're coming off of Baker and the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes wins the coin toss, and it's like, well, you're never going to get the ball back and the game's over. I just think those teams were so evenly matched last night. And I know you're playing on the road. I know it's hard to get stops in the game for the Bengals, but I think I would just want to play it out, man. And then because of what I think we might do we have the clip of Al Michaels last night during that 2-point conversion attempt, Jacob? Yeah, let's put that up.
This is where
Yeah, so during that 2-point conversion attempt, Jacob.
It's another one.
Yeah, let's put that up.
Joe doesn't complain very often. He didn't there. He just kind of grabbed his, wow, look at that follow through.
Oh, good. That's fine. So there's two penalties there.
Yeah.
Terry, what do you see here
On the
on
left
both
side, there was
teams?
a defensive holding, too, that they didn't.
Yeah, it was clearly defensive holding before the pass was in flight.
Yeah.
That should have been called. And that does look like forcible contact to the head of the quarterback.
So,
that's a person. That's roughing the
yeah,
passer.
okay,
Should
cool.
have been called.
That's happened a few times this year.
That's happened. You can tear. Yeah. So that's the thing about that play and why I wouldn't do it is because there's two obvious penalties there. But I think these refs get in their heads, and obviously Al Michaels was critical of them there, and they're just like, we're just going to let it play out here.
Yeah.
You know,
we don't want to decide the game.
We don't want to decide the game, but you did decide the game, right? And so that's why I would just tie it and go to overtime and let the cards fall where they may. Because
so you'd rather have a coin flip decide the game than the referee.
But that's what I'm saying is
because that's what it comes down to, really.
That's what I'm saying.
If you get the ball, you might win.
There's obvious penalties there, and the refs swallow their whistles because they think that that they're going to decide the game somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here saying, dude, you literally made the Bengals lose the game. Like I just, if I'm the Bengals, I would just tie it. That's what I would have done in that situation.
I think the Ravens played it right though. Just go crazy. Just commit penalties on that play, and if they call it, they call it, and you move halfway closer to the line. But otherwise, just go, just try.
Yeah,
they're not going to call it.
Right, they're not going to call it. So I think the Bengals are 4-6 now. I still think, dude, they look so good. Like, I do not see how that can't be a playoff team. Even Jamar Chase after the game was like, I can't believe me and Burrow both had games like that and we lost.
Yeah.
They just look the part. They got a long way to go now, and it's going to be hard to climb out of that hole. But I gotta think they're 4-6.
4-6, yeah.
But they just look like a playoff team, right?
I mean,
the defense is bad, but dude, that offense.
The defense was good for like a lot of that
for
game.
the first half, yeah. So I don't know, and that's a hard game. I think they still got time to turn that thing around and get a wild card spot. But my prediction at the start, as I said, Ravens were going to win the Super Bowl. I feel good about it, dude. I really do. I know their defense is suspect as well, but how are you stopping that offense?
Right now, the Bengals are in 9th place in the AFC.
Yeah.
But they're behind the Colts, the Broncos. Those are teams.
Yeah, you're gonna jump over those teams. You just are.
So I don't know. Maybe they get in there.
Yeah, I hope so. One of my best friends is a Bengals fan, so hopefully he's able to.
Titans are in 11th place.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. Let's go.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's go, team. We got a chance. We're still alive.
Let's go to number 3.
Okay, let's do it.
Number 3.
So LSU is playing Alabama this weekend at home, Death Valley, nighttime, Saturday night, big game. Whoever loses is out of the playoff picture because there'll be 3 losses for one of these two teams. A lot riding on this game for Brian Kelly, a lot riding on this game for Kalen DeBoer. And LSU has announced, well, I guess it's not LSU, but it has been announced that there will be a live tiger on the field, on the sidelines during the game. Apparently,
Pete is pissed.
Well, it's coming from the governor of Louisiana. And the school has kind of said, like, we don't want this. And the governor is like, no, we want this. This is what here's a story from Yahoo that says, per multiple media reports, the Tigers will have a live mascot for the first time in a decade. State Senator Bill Wheat confirming the news to the Louisiana Illuminator. The school has not had a tiger in the stadium since 2015 following the death of mascot Mike VI from cancer in 2016. The return of the Tigers in response to Governor Jeff Landry, who said earlier this fall he wanted to bring a live mascot back to LSU. The Surgeon General, who is also a veterinarian, has been instrumental in this operation. Per the Illuminator, set up an unofficial committee, I don't know, involving the state senator Bill Wheat, who is also a veterinarian. Like everybody in Louisiana apparently has other jobs, but they're also a veterinarian.
I got no problem with this. We used to have a live tiger on the sidelines all the time.
In a cage. Or is it just like, I don't know. Like, is it going to be chained up?
This one not going to be in a cage?
No, this one's in a cage. I'm just saying, like.
Ours was in a cage. Yeah.
Tom
was in a cage. Yeah.
I actually went to LSU like many years ago to do.
What if it was someone with just tiger on a leash?
That's what we were saying. Yeah, they just run it out on the field like Bevo or something.
Yeah.
Like we were. I went to LSU many years ago for Slam Magazine to do a story on Stromile Swift. And we were on campus.
Okay.
And we were on campus.
Stro show.
And Stro took me to Mike the Tiger. And we went over and stood there, and there was this tiger just kind of in this big cage, just kind of walking around, just hanging out right next to the football stadium on campus, which was kind of random. And you're like, all right, cool, I guess. I don't know. But having it on the field is a whole nother thing. I guess it's cool.
I got no problem with it.
What if
that tiger's probably living a good life.
Do you want it to roar?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'd be pretty scary.
So I saw this was Ross Dellinger tweeted this out today, and I was like, I had to make sure that it wasn't a fake Ross Dellinger account when I saw it. He said that let's see, let me find it real quick.
Here's some. The Tigers owner is no stranger to animal welfare. You said PETA was pissed.
Yeah.
This guy has a laundry list of complaints about him, including he's only had 2 tigers escape via employee error. So that seems to good odds for the LSU crowd that only 2 of his tigers have escaped.
I don't like that. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
So here's what Ross tweeted yesterday. Decades ago, LSU used to station the live tiger outside of the visitors' locker room and feed it raw steak, setting a horror scene for visiting coaches and players who would emerge for pregame warm-ups to a roaring Bengal tiger ripping apart a ribeye, his jaws covered in blood. That's what they need to do tomorrow night.
That's awesome.
Give that tiger some raw steak, let it get the blood on its face, and then let the visiting opponents walk right past it.
I went to Kenya before my son was born, so 12, 13 years ago. We were on the Serengeti doing the safari thing. My wife and I were in this open Jeep. We had a driver, this guy who was actually a professor at the University of Kenya, an animal expert. And we were at one point sitting out in the middle of this big field, and we heard this sound of bones crunching and flesh ripping. And it was the most horrifying sound ever. And we looked over, and about 40 feet to our right, there was a lion ripping apart a gazelle and just eating it alive in front of us. It was pretty terrifying. Even just to be that close to it, you could hear it. You could hear it was awful. If you could do that outside of an opposing team's locker room, that would be more scary, I think, than just putting it in a cage and doing a lap around the field. That.
I agree with that.
So.
I'm cool with this. I'm excited to see it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Okay.
This is important to both of us.
This is very important to both of us, big Star Wars fans. We got some breaking news yesterday that the next Star Wars trilogy will be written and produced by Simon Kinberg. The trilogy will reportedly begin a new saga for the franchise. So that's the big conflicting thing, is we don't know if this is episodes 10 through 12 or if it's just something.
Because they were also
on its own.
We had heard they were making a Rey movie, right?
And I saw something yesterday that said that she's going to be in this new trilogy as the wise Jedi master at this point.
Which seems like it would follow the Rise of Skywalker, or what was the Last Jedi?
Yes.
Was the last one? So
no. The last one was the Rise of Skywalker.
So it seems like this would follow that, I would guess, timeline wise.
So I'm down with it. Nick says no more Skywalker saga, please. I think I could agree with that. I mean, I think we've exhausted it quite a bit. It's just fine if you want to throw in a cameo or something.
So you want a whole news story?
Yeah, I think so. I want them to get back to making movies is what I want. I'm so the whole listen, I think it's been kind of proven that the Disney Plus limited series. I think some of them have been really good. I love The Mandalorian. Yep. I thought Ahsoka was good.
Andor was amazing.
Yeah. Andor was good. I've enjoyed some of them, but it doesn't really work. We've learned that people aren't really watching. The Acolyte got canceled. That was a disaster. And this goes to Marvel as well. I just don't think these limited series clearly don't do as well as movies.
It depends. It's it's based on the character. The Acolyte, I didn't like the characters in it. I wasn't interested.
Yeah,
right?
I get that.
Andor was so well done. Those characters were so good. Same with
but that was based off of a movie.
Mandalorian.
I mean, Andor was a spinoff of a movie.
Sort of, but yes, it was. Yeah. But that character, we didn't know a lot about it. It wasn't one of the tent poles of the Star Wars. It was based off the Rogue One kind of one-off movie to begin with. Mandalorian is based off a movie too, but we didn't know a whole lot about Boba Fett. He's barely in those movies, and we didn't know much about those guys, the Mandalorians. So
I just I think the biggest mistake that Star Wars made was looking to when Solo, the last Star Wars movie that came out, did bad at the box office. They were like, we got to pivot, and I'm like, I don't think that's a great. And I think that they would, if they were given true term, they would say, yeah, we shouldn't have worried about that too much. I mean, that's one movie that did bad. Everything else has done amazing numbers at the box office. Like some of those trilogy movies, even the new ones, are still some of the highest grossing movies of all time at the box office. So I'm excited about this. The guy that's doing it, Simon Kinberg, like he's got a pretty good track record as far as stuff that he's written and produced. I mean, he's got some bad stuff in there. He does. He did a lot of
Star Wars.
Yeah, so does Star Wars. He did a lot of the X-Men movies. He did some of the crappy ones, but he also did like Days of Future Past, which was great, I thought. He did all the Deadpool movies. Did produce Rebels, the Star Wars series. So he produced The Martian, which is a good sci-fi movie. Not sci-fi, but space movie.
Rebels is like to me, that's a good sign, because that was like a Star Wars thing that, dabbled in what we know, but it had a lot of new stuff. And I thought, like, of all those new movies, The Force Awakens, I thought that was so good, just like, because it was new characters.
It was great.
But it had like little pops of like nostalgia in there, right? Like just little, every once in a while you'd see and then as like Han Solo and them get more involved in it, you're like, all right.
I loved The Force Awakens. I actually, The Last Jedi I've completely flipped on. I absolutely loved that movie. When I first came out, I was kind of like, it's okay. As rewatch, on a couple rewatches, I love that one. Rise of Skywalker was not great. It just was not good. That was not a great way to end the saga. So hopefully this maybe makes up for it a little bit.
All right.
Number 5.
All right, Bennett, you and I, we always get into some animal stories when I host the show.
Yeah, we have been. This has been a very animal-centric show today.
This is a very important story. Here's the headline from NBC News. Police hunt 43 monkeys that escaped from a South Carolina research facility.
So I think there's like a video of some of them in the woods. And
it'd be funny right now if we rolled a clip from like Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Like
okay, so what's going on here?
So here's the story. Police search is underway after 43 monkeys escaped from a research facility in South Carolina on Wednesday night.
There they are. Look at them in the woods. You see them back there.
Police in Beaufort County say the rhesus macaw primates, how about this, escaped from, now this is where it starts to sound like an episode of Stranger Things or something like that. Mm-hmm. They escaped from a place called Alpha Genesis, a business that provides, quote, non-human primate products and bioresearch services.
Oh, so this is, have you seen, did you see Follow the House of Usher? Did you watch that on Netflix? Okay, well, there's like a one of the episodes, one of the characters breaks into a research facility where they're like doing research like this on.
Yeah.
This was
primates.
This was gorillas, I believe, and she gets like mauled to death.
Yeah. That happened in one of the Planet of the Apes too.
It's giving those vibes. Yeah, it's giving those vibes.
That first James Franco Planet of the Apes, that happens.
So that's why they're having trouble wrangling these things up. We don't know what's in them.
Well, here's the thing: an Alpha Genesis spokesperson, says the monkeys were a group of, quote, very young females that have never been used for testing and are too young to carry disease. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I've seen Outbreak. I know how this goes.
I've seen Planet of the Apes movies. I know how all this starts. Like this
I don't
feels
like this.
Yeah, this feels like the prequel to one of these things.
How many is it?
43 monkeys.
It's going to be tough to wrangle up all those.
Police officers are using thermal imaging cameras in an attempt to recapture the monkeys.
I would say if you see one out in the wild to just call your local authorities. Don't make contact.
Sheriff's Department says residents are strongly advised to keep your doors and windows secured.
Yeah.
And anyone who finds a monkey should not interact with it, but instead call 911.
Yes, that's a good.
Who would interact with it? Who would be like, hey, look, we found a monkey.
Well, I mean, they're cute. Like what is it, a macaw?
Reese's macaw monkey. Macaque, it's spelled, but
I know. I've seen the Wild Boys episode. Yeah, they're cute. Like, if one just jumped into your house and was like, what's up?
The newspaper in that area reported that primate escapes have happened several times before in the area, including May of this year and in 2016 when 20 of them evaded security before they were recaptured 6 hours later. Oh, the Alpha Genesis secured a federal contract to run a colony of 3,500 monkeys on Morgan Island off the coast of South Carolina, which is also known as Monkey Island.
Something weird's going on.
This feels like now we're in Jurassic Park territory.
Yeah, something weird's going on here.
A Monkey Island?
I don't like this.
I don't either. I don't like this at all, South Carolina. We need some explanation. We need more details. We can't just be running a monkey island off the coast of South Carolina with 3,500 monkeys without us knowing anything about it. We need at least need like a webcam or something.
I feel like the fact that they had to come out and be like, these are young and we haven't injected anything in them. I'm like, I don't buy it. I don't buy that. I don't trust you, Alpha whatever. What's it called?
Alpha Genesis.
I don't trust
That feels like a fake name.
Dude, that Alpha Genesis is the freaking Stranger Things place. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing feels weird to me.
Yeah, it feels weird to me too. Hopefully we get it taken care of this weekend.
Right. Let's take one more break. We'll come back with GP's Carry Out and get you on your weekend. You're watching the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media.
I will take Happy Feet. Give me Happy Feet. Hugh Jackman plays Memphis, the Penguin Dad in Happy Feet. I love it. Beautiful message. The tap dancing.
Oh, that was great.
Give me Happy Feet.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well-deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz-Wiz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, like, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look, I'm sorry.
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the...
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. It's Friday. We're about to get you out of here. It's time to do GP's Carry Out.
It's time for GP's Carry Out. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
What did we learn today? Watch out for the monkeys if you live in South Carolina.
Yeah, I learned that Beyonce has been snubbed by the Grammys quite a bit, and that she deserves to take home some trophies when the Grammys roll around early next year. I also learned that Ja Morant's not going to play tonight for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, we knew that though.
But we also
learned that yesterday.
But we also learned that Vince Williams Jr. Could be on his way back pretty soon.
That's true. Yeah, hopefully he's on the way back. Hopefully, we were told Desmond Bane's week to week. It's been a week, so maybe we'll get an update on kind of all these guys.
Yeah.
On their way back. And hopefully Conchar is able to go tonight against a Wizards team that this is a winnable game with or without John Morant. Let's see if we get a big game tonight from Zach Edey or from Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yep.
What's today's biggest game?
Yeah, Grizz versus Wizards is the biggest game tonight. Let me get a line. Hang on. Let me get a line for you.
Give me a line.
I'm gonna say it's Grizzlies. I'm gonna say Grizzlies -7. Hang on. Let me get this pulled up here. It's Grizzlies -7.5. How about that?
Ooh.
I mean, they don't have Ja. They don't have a lot of guys. It's still early in the season. Wizards 1-0 on the road.
Yeah.
I don't like picking against the Grizz. I think I might pick the Wizards to cover.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't you think? I mean, these games are going to be close as shorthanded as they are. They're not just going to blow teams out. Maybe they will.
I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm not allowed to bet on these games.
Well, I mean, I'm not either. I would never do that. I'm just giving like a,
just a hypothetical.
I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, just a hypothetical thing.
As hypothetical as Star Wars is.
We'll go Wiz.
What's today's
No, that is the biggest game. The other biggest game too is Memphis versus Rice. Let me get a line on that. Memphis versus Rice.
I think it was 9, and now it might be down to
8.
7. Yeah, 8.
It's 8. That one I like the road team to cover.
I'll tell you this.
I do.
If I had to pick, I would take Rice. Here's the one thing I've learned with Memphis over the last 5 years: stay away. Don't bet on Memphis games. Do not bet on the Memphis Tigers football games. If you watch the odds couple, that's one of our rules. Do not. I'm 12-3 the last 3 weeks on my picks on the odds couple. Stay away. Do not bet on this Memphis game. Just stay away.
Yeah. I think I'm with you.
What are we watching on TV?
So I don't have any. I mean, tonight we're going to be watching the Tigers, the Grizzlies.
I got college football all day tomorrow.
Yeah, college football all day tomorrow. But something that comes on this weekend is the season finale of The Penguin. Have you been watching The Penguin? Yeah.
I'm behind.
I'm behind too.
I'm only on episode 4.
But I'm liking it. I think it's pretty good.
Too.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I was kind of like, who cares? When they announced that this show was coming, I was like, I mean, what?
Colin Farrell's awesome.
He's great. Yeah, he's great. And I should have known that because he's a great actor. I should have assumed that.
Seen him in a while.
Yeah. But the show's really good, and we got an announcement yesterday that they're going to do another show like this, and it's going to be about the Joker. And it's gonna, if you remember, in the Batman, and it wasn't in the actual movie when it played in theaters, but when it came out on Blu-ray DVD, they had a bonus scene that they dropped, and it was Barry Keoghan as the Joker. He's in Arkham Asylum talking to the Riddler. And so we saw that. Everybody saw that scene, and they're actually gonna make a series about it. It's set between the Batman 2 and 3. We'll see if it's going to be on HBO or Max. But he's going to be... I was always assuming that he was going to be like the main villain in the Batman 2.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. I wonder who their main villain is going to be, considering you've already used the Penguin and the Riddler.
Well, no. I mean, if it's set between 2 and 3, maybe he's the villain in 2 and he doesn't get caught or something, And
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
That picks up where 2 ends, because this one kind of the Penguin picks up after 1, right? The first Batman, because the kid has flashbacks about the city flooding and all this stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. So, by the way, you know who Barry Keoghan is dating? Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Why am I acting like surprised by that? I knew that.
I thought you were just selling it.
No, I knew that.
Yeah, I love the Penguin. It's a great show. It reminds me of The Sopranos. Just the feel of it. It's kind of like a mob show, and it's. I also like that it's kind of a part of Gotham we've never seen before. Like down at, we've seen Batman go to the docks and like do stuff, but like he's in Chinatown and he's at the docks and all these other things.
Yeah.
In this part, it's kind of cool to see like other parts of Gotham.
I saw Nick said, "Have we hit Joker fatigue yet?" I get the point.
It's a good point.
I get the point. Like nobody went and saw the Joker Part 2, and it was supposedly terrible. But set in a different universe. I saw somebody to that point say that we haven't actually seen the Joker fight Batman since like 2016.
Yeah.
So maybe it's been a long time. I'm intrigued because this is like the video game Joker, like the Arkham. That's kind of what it's based on.
Yeah.
Which is a little different than what we've had in
Those games
in
are
the
awesome
past.
too.
Yeah. So I'm kind of intrigued by it. I'd be interested to see how this goes, and I think Colin Farrell's a great actor playing the Penguin. Like Barry Keoghan's a great actor in his own right. Look at the Banshees of Inisherin like joining the Batman universe. That's pretty cool.
That movie was terrible.
You're out of your mind. That movie was great.
I watched that thing for an hour before I realized it was set in the past.
Dude.
I could make that movie, just set up a camera and just shoot the Irish countryside. Great. Got it.
I loved it. Oh, man. Come on.
Let's just have a lot of silence. Just walking around in the hills of Ireland.
You got to immerse yourself.
Yeah.
You got to immerse yourself.
I think we've hit Joker fatigue for the Todd Phillips Joker.
Oh, yeah, we're done
The Joaquin
there.
Phoenix Joker.
Well, he's done there.
Good.
I mean, he like...
Friend of the show. But I think, right? And Joaquin Phoenix a friend of the show?
Joaquin is a friend of the show, yes.
But
GP and him are tight.
That's right. But I would say, like, otherwise... I mean, if it's a good story, it's a good story. And Barry Keoghan's a good actor, so we'll see.
I'm in. I'm in. Yeah.
What's the best thing we've read?
Drew Hill today in the Daily Memphian yesterday in the Daily Memphian wrote a piece about Jay Huff's wife, who Lindsay Huff. She does custom sneakers. She has a company that does custom sneakers. I actually talked about it with Jay Huff on Media Day, and he's been wearing them every game this season. Shoes, like, he wears Nikes and they have like different designs that she's painted on them.
Dude.
But she's also done a lot of other cool ones for other people and athletes. She did one when Dusty Baker went into the Hall of Fame.
Those.
She made Air Force Ones for the whole family. There's some cool ones on there.
Dude, they're sick. Like, they are, if you go, because there's pictures in the story. Yeah. Like, she does an awesome job. She's really good at that. So check that out, Drew.
She has an Instagram account. I think it's Lindsay Huff Art or something you can follow. But
Okay.
It has like all the pictures on there of all the different shoes. It's cool.
Cool.
What's on tap next week?
GP going to be back next week. We'll be obviously talking about the Grizzlies weekend, college football weekend, NFL, college basketball. We got all kinds of stuff to get to on Monday.
Grizzlies are on the West Coast all next week, which means late games. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so Sunday we get an 8 p.m. tip, which isn't terrible.
Yeah.
8 p.m., that's fine. I'm good with that. And then it's like 9 o'clock, 9:30. It's bad.
I'm looking right now.
Well, no, the two Denver games are here, right?
Yeah, but we play, here it goes, at the Lakers on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Friday night at the Warriors, 9 o'clock.
That's okay. That's Friday night. So really Wednesday is the only...
Then a week from Sunday, we're back here at home against the Nuggets. It's a 5 p.m. tip-off.
I hope Ja's back for that Lakers game.
I think so.
You got to have him back for that game.
That's
I
my
mean,
hope
it's going to be like all eyes on that game.
You sit Ja against the Wizards, you sit him against the Blazers.
Yeah.
That gives you 6 days off, so, maybe to recuperate. If it's just a strain or whatever, like, because the Lakers are going to be coming for the Grizzlies that night.
Dude, yeah, AD will probably be back. Like, there'll be fireworks.
They'll probably have
in that
Shannon
game.
Sharp in the front row again.
I forgot about Shannon
They'll probably bring
Sharp.
him back for that game.
I completely forgot about that. Dude, we've had so many wild stories over the past year that like that one just like doesn't even get talked about.
Yeah, Unk kind of took himself out of the conversation. Like, he hasn't really engaged with it since that happened. Right?
Oh, he was embarrassed.
Yeah.
He was embarrassed. He even said as much.
I can see that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. God, that was a good moment.
So, anyway, that's our show for today. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate everybody in the chat and even the people who are telling me that I sounded sad. Go Dogs. That's all I'm going to say.
Go Dogs.
We'll see y'all next week. Appreciate you watching. You're watching Grind City Media.